There we go. How's it going, everybody? I am a Circle of Light. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, a Circle of Light also. Today we're going to be playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've lined up a flight from Atlanta to KVPS, which is Destin, Florida. It's just a little over 1 hour flight. Flying live, so it will be dark. Let's go ahead and go in there. Head on over to Atlanta. Alright, let's see which runway we're taking off from. 27 right. Long runway. Alright, let's go ahead and put ourselves in here fairly close to the runway. E3. E3 sounds good. Alright, well we're going to be flying the fly-by-wire A320. Let's go with the standard Delta livery. Head on over to flight conditions, everything flying live, but no traffic, live weather. Alright, let's go ahead and go in. So basically, I will be doing mostly tutorial and gameplay mixed videos, so as I'm flying I will try to explain a few things in each video, make them a little educational. We will be starting from cold and dark, so you will see the startup procedure. I don't follow the checklists. Sometimes I do, but for streaming purposes I won't. I'd rather actually get to flying, you know? So here we are coming into Hartsfield Airport. Alright, radio off. Let's go ahead and minimize this for a second. Let's go ahead and get some power onto the plane. Batteries right up here. Both on. Go ahead and connect the external power. The 80 IRS. Number 1. Turn to nav. Wait for the light. While we're waiting, go ahead and turn on our pumps here. Turn on the second one. Come down here. Let me give you guys some light. Crew oxygen supply. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Let's arm the emergency exit lights. Turn on the no smoking lights. Fasten seat belts. And go ahead and turn on IR number 3. And we'll head on down to the MCDU. I did go ahead and take the liberty of making our flight plan in SimBrief, so if you're flying the A320 by fly-by-wire, you'll be able to import it in directly by going to the ATSU menu, AOC menu. Well, if you need to know how to get there, MCDU main menu. This is what will automatically populate, but if you need to get back to it, it's this button right here. We'll go to ATSU, AOC, init press, and come down here and do our request for init data. That will populate in our departure and destination, Atlanta to Destin. After that, we will go back to our AC menu, perf, weight, and balance. And it has already calculated in our fuel uses for the trip from SimBrief, so Block fuel is 7.1, taxis 200, total trip fuel 2.3 thousand. So we'll go ahead and load. And a little asterisk flickered, so we know it did. Head over to page 2. Now our weights. So we have our total payload, forward baggage, rear baggage. It's already adjusted to balance the plane, so we'll click load. You get that little shimmy in the plane when you load it, letting you know the weight was added correctly. Next, we're going to go to the init page. Init request. Same thing as before, it's going to populate our from and to, our flight number here, the alternate, which will divert us to Jacksonville in case there's a problem. We will be flying offline, no VATSIM today, so this will be pretty much irrelevant. After this, we're going to go ahead and go to page 2. Our zero fuel weight. The best way to do that is just go ahead and click it once. It's going to bring it up here in the notepad section. Click it twice. It will fill in the blanks. Now our fuel, block fuel, did populate on the other screen, but it doesn't on this one. So we'll go ahead and do it here. 7.1, I think it was. Yes. And we'll put that right in there. And everything else will calculate. The only thing that did not is trip wind. Now if you do your sim brief and the OFP, when you're filling it out over on this side, there's a selection where you can choose which format you want. If you do the EasyY, the easy format, I find that to be the best because all the information you need for your flight is on the first page right here. There's no need to scroll anywhere. So our trip wind is going to be a headwind of 14 degrees. So we'll type in H for head, 14. Enter it right here. If it was tail, you would just put a T before the number. That would translate over to tail. Let me, before I go any further, let me go ahead and turn on these lights a little better. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like fumbling around in the dark. Let's go over here. Can't see. There we go. And we'll turn these on a little brighter. Come down here, our main center panels. And last but not least, our MCDU. And main console here. Don't really need our floodlight, but we can turn on a little bit. What the hell? Okay, back down here, we just did our second page all the way to trip wind. We'll go to next is perf. And we will be taking off in flaps 1, so we'll just type a 1 down here, put it in the notepad. Click here, we'll automatically put flaps 1. I never worry about the TCH or THS. V1, click once, it will automatically populate it. Click twice, input. So once, twice, once, twice. And these will be our speeds, so we know what our stall speed is, planned, landing speed, all that. Flex to temp, I don't worry about. I really don't even know how to calculate that very well, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next phase that we need to worry about is the approach. The information we need for approach is, if you go back to your sim brief, scroll down right below the manifest, and you have your weather NOTAMs. This information we'll need is for the arrival. So if we click that, drop down, first METAR right here is going to give us all the most recent information from the ATIS in Destin. So the first thing we're going to need is the QNH, which is right here, is 29.93 to 9.93. Now, if you ever mess up, just click the clear button over here. It'll go back. And we'll input that right there. Next thing we need is the temperature, which is 26 degrees. Don't have to worry about dew point. just the air temperature. So 26, right there. Next, we're going to need our wind, which is this second block right here, which means the wind is coming out of direction 210 at 5 knots. So we will put 210, and because we're filling in a field where it's got one number here, a slash, and another number, you will need to separate it with a slash, just like that. Oop. And 5 knots, and it will enter both of them, just like that. Transition altitude. Of course, we're in North America, so the transition altitude is, as far as I'm aware, always 18,000 feet for commercial flights. And the next thing we need is the barometer. Now, there's a couple different ways to get this. The fastest way that I have found, because I use Navigraph, if you don't, you could use a website like airportnavfinder.com, which will let you look up the airports and see and pull up all the charts associated with it. And it takes a second. Come on now. Yeah, sometimes I just click it and it just automatically goes. Well now. Okay, well it looks like we're going to be going to Airport Nav Finder ourselves while we wait on stupid Navigraph to work. We'll be going to Florida, so you could either type it in right here, but just show you how to go ahead and get through here. United States, there's with all the states. We are going to, what's the abbreviation? I done forgot. VPS. So we could sit here and scroll all the way down alphabetically, but let's just go ahead and put in KVPS and search. There it is. And we scroll down a little bit until we get to these files here. These are all your charts. So airport chart, this is going to show you an airport diagram. Runways, all that information. If it was a commercial airport, you would have all your terminals, your taxiways. But we are looking for our approach for runway 30. So we'll be doing a high route local runway 30 ILS. Not sure if this one's going to work, but that's not the right one I was looking for. Car key? Okay, well that's better. So our airport elevation is 84 feet above sea level. The information we're going to need is for the runway. So runway 30, right here is 440 feet. No, it's not. It would not be. Where is that? $249? half. Yes, it is. 249. So we'll enter that right in there. Now it works. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how to do this from Navigraph. Works a lot better. Okay, go ahead and scroll over. So when it pops up, it'll be on this side already. And go to destination. Our arrival will, since there's no star for there, we do know we're coming in runway 30. Wonder why there's no ILS. There's only a Y. Should start with a Z. Let's just go ahead and put that one in there. We'll click it, bring up chart overlay. And now, this is almost the same chart we were looking at before, but it's just done a lot better. So, coming in for our LNAV or ILS, 500 feet. So we were wrong. Let's change that. I want to see on this chart where the 249 was, because it was showing airport elevation 84 feet. Okay. It just might be a little bit different because it's a military airport. We're bringing Air Force troops into Eglin. Alright, well now that we have that, everything's done. We just go over to flight plan, click our first waypoint, which of course is Atlanta Airport. Click departure. Our departure is going to be runway 27 right. So we'll scroll here till we get to 27 right. That's going to be a halo departure with a Sarge transition. And it's already ready. So we'll insert that. I'd like to move up here. We'll click on over to plan, scroll out one so I get a better view. Now if you have the view to where you can see your radar screen and your computer at the same time, if you're on plan, you can click the up arrow and it will follow you along the waypoints. And the reason you do this is you want to make sure there's nothing weird going on with your flight plan, because oftentimes you will see some weird waypoints in there that are just way out of the way, or they'll be in there twice, or they'll loop, so you actually go past a waypoint and then come all the way back to one you've already been to. If you check before you take off, you can actually fix those. And everything was good, pretty smooth, so we're going to go to our last waypoint, which is the arrival airport. Click arrivals this time. We know we're going to runway 30, and we did do the Y. Of course, no star, no transition from CEW, and insert. So back up here one more time since we did add in a arrival. We just scroll on through one more time. So right here at Corey, you see it's actually taking us on a weird little it's taking decel and then to is that CEW? So more than likely, because it's a decel point, and it's just making that, we're actually going to be flying off and then come in, or at least before we get here, it will kind of round out just a little bit more. It won't actually fly like that. So we are pretty much done here. I just went go ahead and put it on back on the perf menu. There. Next, we need to start our engines up. So we're going to APU bleed on. If you need your window heat, you can go ahead and turn that on. APU master and start. Now directly below us, we will go to these screens. We have APU down here. We can see it spooling up. When it gets up to 100%, then we will be able to start the engines. Alright, we're at 80. Yeah, and as soon as the APU gen came on, means it's ready to go. Wasn't quite 100%, maybe 90. Alright, we will, if you didn't see that, switch our ignition to start, flip switching engine 2 up, which is our right engine, and we can see it spooling up now. And we can hear it. Now at this point, to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and get our pushback ready while we wait on engine 1. Let's call in for the tug. And we will start our pushback and emergency brake off. Engine 2 is ready, so we come back down here, flip up engine 1, and it will do the same thing as we are beginning our pushback. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the mod installed. Woo. That lets you control the pushback with your rudder pedals. But we'll get that taken care of by the time we do our next flight. We're going to go ahead and start pushing to the right. Alright, as far as this screen, we can go ahead and pin it, because we will need it later, but get off of that screen. And get ready to stop our tug. Stop the pushback. Send tug home. pull up the Atlanta taxi chart for the airport. We don't need to pin it. We're only going to use it one time here. And as we know, we're going to 27 right. So we're going to turn left, down taxiway. Looks like Lima to Lima Alpha, or Lima Charlie. Either one. Alright, since our engines are done, we're going to go ahead and switch back the ignition switch to normal. Back up top, turn off our APU bleed and APU master. Do not touch start unless you want to restart your plane. Back to the main view. Give her some gas. Oh, before I do that, let's go ahead and get our passengers ready, shall we?
Good evening and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Please return your seat back and folding trays to their upright positions. You can store your carry-on luggage in either the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. Also, make sure to fasten your seatbelt. For those of you seated next to an emergency exit, please carefully read the special instructions located near that exit. If you don't want to complete any of the functions described in the event of an emergency, please inform a crew member so you may be reseated. We now request that all electronic devices such as cell phones and laptops be either powered off or set to airplane mode. We'll notify you when it's safe to continue using these devices. Please remember, this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking aboard this aircraft, as well as tampering with, disabling, or destroying lavatory smoke detectors is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight, please don't hesitate to ask a crew member. Thank you for your attention. Good evening, everyone. Could I please get everybody's attention here for the next few minutes to review some safety information? Fasten your seatbelt when the seatbelt sign lights up. Insert the metal fittings one into the other, and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. You can release your seatbelt by lifting the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight in case of any turbulence. You can find several emergency exits on this airplane. Please take a moment to locate the closest exit to you. In some cases, the nearest exit may be situated behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you toward any of these exits. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide which can be detached and used as a life raft. Oxygen and air pressure are monitored throughout the duration of the flight. If decompression occurs at any time, oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling in front of all of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you and place it firmly over your mouth and nose. Secure the elastic band behind your head and breathe normally. Even if the bag doesn't seem to be inflating, oxygen is actually flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who needs help, please secure your own mask first. After that, you can assist the other person. As well, please keep your mask on until myself or a crew member advises you to take it off. In the event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position. Lean forward with your hands on top of your head and your elbows against your thighs. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor. A life vest is located in a pouch under your seat in between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head and bring the straps around your waist. Adjust the straps at the front. When leaving the aircraft, inflate the vest by pulling firmly on the red cord. If you need to refill the vest, blow it to the mouthpiece.
We'll go
also,
to
use the whistle and
Lima
light
Bravo.
to attract attention. Your seat bottom cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. The use of laptop computers and other portable electronic devices is permitted only when the seatbelt sign is off or when permitted by the crew. Mobile phones must always remain off. Please remember that this is a non-smoking flight. Damaging the smoke detectors in the lavatories is prohibited by law. You can find any safety information I've covered this evening in a card located in the seat pocket in front of you. Please read it through before we take off. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask myself or other crew members. Enjoy the flight and have a great evening.
And ready for takeoff. We'll be heading to 6,000 feet. Landing gear up. Flaps to 0. Throttle back to climb. And autopilot on. And that is how we take off. If we were on VATSIM right now, we may be taking vectors from departure. We may, they may just tell us to go ahead and proceed as filed. In which case we would follow the standard instrument departure out, which would be one of those charts you would pull up for your departure. It would let you know which waypoints to go to, your vectors, your headings, the altitudes you need to be at, maximum speeds, all that information. I can go over that kind of stuff in more detail and maybe some pre-recorded videos, not live streams. Alright, we've reached 6,000 feet. As soon as we get turned here, I'm going to go ahead and increase the altitude to 180. 180. Vertical speed, let's climb at about 1,500 feet per minute. And we'll go ahead and engage that. Once we're at 18,000 feet, we can turn off the fasten seatbelt signs, decrease our rate of ascent to probably about 900 feet per minute. Everything's good. I've still never gotten this panel to work. Alright, for those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch, welcome. We've just departed Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport on our way to Destin, Florida. Alright, I wish there was more to do during the cruise, but it's not a whole lot. I am flying with the Delta Virtual Airline. Actually,
it is now acceptable to use electronic
tracking this
devices.
flight.
When our
So,
cruising altitude is reached, the flight
using
attendants
smart
will be
cars,
stopping
it
by with
actually
food and
tracks
beverages.
everything
For
we've
now,
done on this flight,
relax
from
and
our
have a great
startup,
evening. Enjoy
starting the
the flight.
engines, how much fuel we left with, when we started taxiing, what time we took off, our pitch. It's got to track everything down to the landing, how hard our landing is, and once we are finished with the flight, we can click finish, then it'll say submit. We'll turn that in, and we get credit with the company. Let's go ahead and bring up the website. For our virtual airline, let's go ahead and log in. If you are interested in joining a virtual airline, I would say do it. I mean, if you have the interest. If you don't know what a virtual airline is, basically it's a pretend airline company that you can fly with in flight simulators. Ours covers Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane. I can't remember all the flight simulators, but basically anyone that you can connect to VATSIM with. If I go to the downloads library, so yeah, there we go. We cover X-Plane, P3D, Flight Simulator 10, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and there's one more, I just can't remember what it's called. But basically it puts you in one big group with a lot of other people. It gives you a community to fly with. Delta Virtual, we actually, based on donations from our members, we actually pay to receive the manifest of actual Delta and Delta Partners airlines flights. So you can actually fly, that is what you fly, is real-world Delta airline flights. Right now, you can see this kind of map. You've probably seen this if you fly on VATSIM. That shows you who's flying on the network. This isn't VATSIM. This is just our virtual airline. This is how many people in our group are flying right now and where they're flying. I am somewhere over here. That's me. On my way to Destin, Eglin Airforce Base. It's not going to show the flight plan. It's actually just showing the straight line, but just let you know where you're leaving, where you're going. All the other members. When you do flights, based on the number of hours you fly, you'll rank up. You'll start out as just a regular pilot. After, I think it's maybe 25 hours, you'll earn your first rank. It's very easy to get 25 hours. You'll start with narrow body planes, like the A320, 727, if you fly Boeings, number of other planes, CRJ 200. No matter which simulator you fly, there's going to be some commercial airliners that you can fly when you're starting out. So you can go ahead and rank up with. As you rank up, you'll unlock the ability to fly different planes. I am rank 5 currently, which is a wide-body captain, which means I can fly and do pretty frequently things like the Airbus 330. I can fly the Boeing 787 and the Airbus 380.
18,000 feet.
18,000. Let's go ahead and go back to the sim real quick. Turn off our seat belts. Okay. We're going to go ahead and skip up to our final cruise altitude of 28,000 feet. At about 900 feet per minute. Nice, slow, gradual climb. All right, back to the VA real quick. Let's see where we are here. Okay. Okay. Now, when you do flights, it's based on the actual flight time the flight took, and you get paid. So, based on your rank, you're in a different pay scale. And with the money that you earn, if I go to my dashboard, it's kind of showing total number of hours that I have flown with this VA, how many flights I have completed, total revenue. This means the money that I have actually earned for the airline. This is based on, this is just a fun number. It doesn't really mean anything. This is based on how many passengers I've had in my flights, average ticket sales for those, which is all based on, Delta actual flight costs. Money earned, this is how much money I have actually earned while flying. And my bank account balance total. Yes, I'm very wealthy. Let's see here. Just a little map of all the flights that I've completed. A lot of these are duplicates, you know, fly back and forth between them, but I've been all over Europe, down to South America, here in Argentina, Canada, Alaska, Spain, the UK, Poland, Germany, Greece. It's pretty nice, you know, it keeps track of everything, shows here's my type rating. These are all the aircraft I can fly based on my rank. So, you know, it's tons and tons and tons of planes. My next rank up, I'll be able to unlock the Boeing 747, although I don't fly Boeings. I personally think they're sky garbage. I love Airbus. This is a record of all the flights I've done. When I submit them, one of our hub managers will look through it and approve it if it was passable. The main thing that's going to stop you from passing is your landing. And that's based on how fast you come down and hit the runway. To fail, you have to get over 800 feet per minute, and that is a very hard landing. I don't think you could land really any harder and keep the landing gear attached to the plane. These are my landing speeds. I have had a few where the plane would just like glitch out right before the runway, and it just like buried me. Where's that at? A couple of these are pretty high. My average is about 249. That is my average right now, which is a pretty good average. There it is. That was my third flight with the VA. And that was the normal A320, the default one. For some reason, when it gets down to the runway at 100 feet, the autopilot disengages, but it also resets the pitch trim, which will just instantly drop the nose right down onto the runway. And then after those two, it cleared right up. I don't know if you watched my last flight. That was this one here. Kind of a rough landing. That was, I wasn't paying attention. The runway was actually inclined. So when I was coming in, the ground was coming up faster than I was expecting it to. Let's see, what else we got? Like I said, you can earn money. So if you went to the pilot store, it would show you like all the different things you could buy, how much they cost. Most of the stuff is a pass. You can buy passes to fly general aviation aircraft. So you're not just stuck all the time flying Delta approved airliners. You can actually fly your Cessna 172 if you buy like a GA pass, and not just fly it, because of course you could fly whatever plane you want to. It's just whether or not you could fly it and get approved and paid for the flight by Delta. You have your landing pass. This is, you know, if your landing is over 800, you buy a pass, and you can use that. That will automatically guarantee your flight would be approved. It's just a way around it. Just different ways to spend your money. Category free is probably the biggest seller. You know, I was telling you before about when you rank up, you can unlock the ability to fly different planes. This is like a skip. It just skips that. And just about a lot of members buy this. This is not an accurate number because this is actually they redid the website just a couple weeks ago. That's how many people bought it, like in the last 3 weeks. But this makes you category free, so you can fly any approved Delta airliner of any rank, even if you're not that rank. and it's a 30-day pass for, you know, 3,000, which doesn't take you very long to earn. You could earn this at rank 1 by the time you hit your 25-hour mark. Splash screens. Now, I don't use any of these flight simulators, so I don't know what they do. I imagine they're just like a background somewhere in the game. We have our own the Delta Virtual libraries for different planes and different simulators. We do have one for the A320 and Microsoft Flight Simulator right here. Cargo Pass if you like to fly cargo planes. This is a single use, so you can fly the cargo, you can fly the commercial airline route with a cargo plane and get paid just as you normally would. It might be a bonus for flying cargo, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. We also have tours, which you can sign up for, and basically what it does, it breaks up the monotony of just picking a flight, flying the flight, picking the flight. These tours are designed with a theme in mind, so it might be 10 hops, might be 20 hops for some kind of tour. So there's like tours for the historical cities of America. So that tour, you might fly from Boston to Washington, D.C., to Charleston, historical cities. There's another tour for parks, national parks. So you fly from brain fart, from the Grand Canyon to Glacier National Park, up to Seattle, which is Rainier National Park, things like that. I think that one goes all the way up into Alaska. And you get paid for those flights also. So even though they're not, some of them might not be actual Delta airline, but because they're part of the tour, you're actually getting paid and you can turn in those flights. And it's just something a little different to do. A free for all pass, of course, that's if your flight fails for any reason, other than crashing. It does cover crash, but I mean, if you're not at the airport when you crash, you know, you crash 30 minutes after takeoff, you're only getting paid for 30 minutes, even if it's approved, so you don't want to waste that money. You want to make sure the flight, you at least got to the airport. And really, you know, see the price of that? I wouldn't do that ever, I don't think. That's just so it doesn't go on your record, I guess. I don't have any crashes on my record. Thank goodness. Knock on wood. And here's your general aviation pass, so you can fly any general aviation aircraft for an approved Delta flight. You can go up here, SkyMail. Of course, we have our own email we can send back and forth between members. Hubs and Skywars. These are basically go together. When you apply for the Delta Virtual, it's a very easy application process, and there are 4 pages of information you'll read, and at the end of those 4 pages, it's like a 10-question multiple choice test. It's very easy, and you can actually, you know, go back in your browser and read the information as you're answering the question. So there's no reason to get anything less than 100%, but even if you get an 80%, you pass. So 80 or above. On the application, it's going to ask you, it's going to show you a list and a little detailed description of each Delta hub, and it'll give you the option to join them, whichever one you want. So if you're from the Northwest, you know, you could join the Seattle hub, or if you're from the Southeast, you could join Atlanta. Miami also has a hub. There's New York. There's St. Paul. There's Dallas-Fort Worth. There's Salt Lake City, LAX, I think there's one more in the United States that's an actual Delta hub. Atlanta is the main Delta hub. But there's Japan and the Netherlands, and those two go together because they have the least number of members, so you have a bigger group. But those are our two international hubs, and you can join those even if you're from America if you want to. After 30 days, I think you can ask to, transfer around. Our Sky Wars is basically our hubs that compete against each other. So it's divided out evenly. So it's based on the number of members in the hub divided by, or the number of hours flown in a month divided by the number of members. So it, it balances out. So there's right here, this is how many are the Netherlands. There's 9 members, but they have a pretty high score. Higher than JFK, which has 68 members, because even though it's 9 members, more of them are actively flying. It's almost a handicap the more members you have, except LAX. LAX is crazy this month because they have been doing a lot of events, and hub managers can schedule their own events and they're supposed to do different things to actually encourage members to fly more often and win. And then there's also all kinds of little prizes. There's, Pilot of the Month for each hub, which I was last month. Pilot of the Month, I did the most hours flown and the most number of flights flown in October. But I did not have the most number of flights flown in the whole VA, so I did not get VA Pilot of the Month. But Atlanta was good enough. I think I had like 39 flights, so it was a little more than average one a day. Wasn't hard to do. When I first joined, I was just like balls to the wall. I'd fly like 6 flights in one day, and then, I might skip a day or two and then fly another 4 flights, but I was flying a lot more than I do now. The next section we can go to scheduling flight bids. This is where you're going to go to schedule your flights. And the last airport I flew flew into was Oakland. But today, I just for the sake of this stream, I flew out of Atlanta. You pick your departure airport wherever you want to fly out of. You can pick your destination. Doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a flight, because remember, these are actual Delta real-world flights. The aircraft used, this is just recommended. You don't have to use the aircraft that's corresponds with a specific flight. Like if I do Atlanta, the A320, the airline, these are all Delta and Delta partner. I just usually leave that one blank. I leave all the rest blank usually. Unless I'm looking for a specific flight less than like a certain number of hours. Let's go ahead and check where we're at here. I do not have a star, so right about here, I think I'm going to go ahead and start descending. Actually, you know what? It's hard to gauge, but so there's the Florida line. No, that's just that's the state line. Yeah, I think that is. So right about here, I guess I'm going to start my descent. We're only 28,000 feet, so it would help if I spelled it right? Atlanta. Let's go ahead and do a search, and it's going to bring up every flight from the Atlanta airport, where it's going, the aircraft we selected. If we didn't select an aircraft, it would bring up everything, Airbuses and Boeings and whatnot. The actual flight number of the flight making that flight, which is really cool. If you know this, you know, you can actually look on other websites and track flights, where they're going, what they're doing, where they're at, and the duration of the flight. Every once in a while, there's a few oddballs that'll just say 0. It won't have a time. Not sure why it does that. Oh, if you select one, let's say Atlanta to Spokane, it'll bring up your next screen. It's just going to show you a little more information. Your expected call sign. So when you turn in the, it's going to automatically populate it, but not 100% necessary. I've changed my call sign, and it still gets approved. I'm going to show you just a little general map. Your little zippity doodah there, and you'll go ahead and click bid on this flight. And what that will do will instantly bring it up to another menu here and show your active flights and reserve, waiting for you to fly them. My current bids would bring up a screen like this. So you could either go ahead and just click plan or delete it. If you did click plan, it's going to bring you up to this screen here, which is just like SimBrief. Just some general information about the flight, your cruise altitude, flight number, call sign, if you want to use pounds or kilograms, contingency fuel, all that stuff. And you click generate flight plan, it's going to generate the flight on SimBrief. And bring up all the basic information you need to run that flight. Now, if you want more detailed information, you just click view on SimBrief. And it'll just immediately transfer it over. And you can make your adjustments if you want to, generate, and you know the rest. If you don't, I'll make a little more detailed flight video information, whatever, about SimBrief. Let's go ahead and drop our altitude to final approach. Which is going to be, let's bring up the overlay. Uh, 1,600 feet. Capture the ILS at 1,500 feet at, I guess that's Hudson. And we're talking about Florida here, so there ain't nothing to hit. So we can go ahead and, tell you what, let's stop at 1,800 feet, 18,000 feet. And just see where we're at from there. All right, everybody who's been watching the stream here on Twitch and YouTube, I appreciate your views. Throw me a like. Throw me a, don't forget to subscribe. Follow on Twitch if these kind of videos are the content you're looking for. I am mostly a simulator. I do some gaming, but it's mostly sims. Main purpose I had for even doing these videos at all was I wanted to give back. I'm the kind of person who'll I'll spend hours on YouTube just looking up tutorials and guides on different games, and I really appreciate the guys who take the time to make those videos that really help us out. And as much as I've learned, I've decided just to go ahead and make streams and videos and give back and maybe cover some topics that other people didn't cover, or add some information that they might have missed. It's my main goal. Let's see where we're at up here. Yeah, we'll just drop down to 180. I think at whatever that waypoint is. Rucker? Maybe? I don't know. When we get there, I'm going to go ahead and do a direct to and just head to Aussie instead of this little zigzag they got going on here. I'll just go straight in. It's probably going to take about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes off the flight. That's fine. I'm paid by the hour. Normally I'd stretch it out and do a couple loop-de-loops around the airport and, you know, no, not really. Once or twice I've been flying and I'd have my second monitor just sitting there just going to town, watching some YouTube video, listening to music, and look up, and next thing I know is, you know, I'm 38,000 feet right above the airport I'm supposed to be landing at. It happens. So yeah, when I submitted that flight, the hub manager did ask me, he's like, why were you tornadoing? And then we have a good laugh and I get paid. So, like I said, the only thing that's really going to stop you from getting a flight approved is rough landings. Even then, you know, if it was an accident, if something happened, if, you know, your game froze up or just whatever, you know, before you submit, you actually have a comment box. Just let them know what happened. Don't lie, because they can see everything you did. But they're very lenient. I mean, the number one rule of a VA is have fun. It's not to take it serious. It is not a job. I have played too many games where it just feels like a job. And we don't want to do that with our VA. So if you're interested, yeah, head on over to thedeltavirtual.com, fill out the application, join up. Right now, we just 20, 30 minutes ago, we added member number 877. So there's a lot of people in our VA. Not everybody is a regular flyer, the minimum requirement. Once you join, you have to complete your first flight within 14 days. Doesn't matter if it's a 1 hour flight, doesn't matter if you're going cross country. Just complete one flight, submit it. And then after that, you know, that's just to make sure everybody who gets in, we don't want any bots, things like that. And then once you're in, it's the only requirement, honestly, is one flight every 6 months or 12 months. We know people have lives, you know. Things happen. People can't always just commit all their time. We don't want people to have to request absences, you know. It's just do what you got to do. You know, we'll be here when you get here. And if you did go a year and you come back and the account's locked, all you just say, hey, gotta lock the account. Boom, you're unlocked. Ready to go. But we do have, you know, a good number of pilots who are regulars. They fly every day. I am almost one of them. All our guys at the top level, our CEO, you know, everybody down to our DPO, the DIT, they're on every single day, running the website, just doing what they do, being cool guys. We have, for those of you who are interested in VATSIM, we do have members who are controllers on VATSIM. And if you have been reluctant to log on because you're scared, you can. Our controllers in the VA are very helpful and courteous and friendly and love answering questions. I don't know about love, but, you know, they're there for you. That's what we're all there to do, is help each other out, have fun. Every once in a while, they will, you know, announce in our Discord they're opening up. Their control in, you know, one of the guys is in San Diego, and he'll announce when he's opening up, so we can head over there and get some air traffic control from him. And none of the controllers in our VA are the guys in VATSIM who'll bite your head off. And honestly, I've never met any that act that way. I'm sure there are some out there. I'm just an anecdotal case. I have not seen it. But I have seen a lot of situations where I can understand somewhat, and I think most people can. You know, if you're having an event where you have 50 pilots leaving out of Atlanta heading to Denver, you know, and the ATCs there, the controllers have to deal with 50 pilots at one time, all trying to get taxis and clearances and all that stuff. You know, some guy comes in on his, you know, little Cessna 152 wanting to know if he can do touch and goes. You know, he might be told to go somewhere else. They're not trying to be mean. But I know, just because of all the studying that I've done, I'm training right now to get into the air traffic control side of VATSIM. It's a lot, and it's very stressful. So, and the guys on VATSIM, none of them are paid. You know, they volunteer to do that. So, it's a little, you know, it's a little give and take on both sides. Be a little understanding, but do your best to actually kind of know what you're doing before you go in. And like I said, you know, join a VA and talk to the actual controllers. And, you know, if you need help with something, they'd be more than happy to help you. We want people on VATSIM. All right, let's go ahead and drop down and head over to our waypoint. Go and activate approach because it should have been activated anyway. And go ahead and we'll drop down a little more. Let's see what this is doing here. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to let it do what it's doing. Too many times, you know, I've done a DIR. It doesn't do it like it does in the default A320, but if you do a direct to in that default A320, good luck getting anything in that MCDU to work again.
18,000 feet.
It's just, it's a bad plane. It has, you know, 3/4 of the buttons don't work. And it's really just sensitive and it's not programmed correctly. So I don't recommend anybody flies the A320 default plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Get yourself the fly-by-wire. And if you don't know which version to download, you know, when you get the installer, you can choose between the stable and the development or experimental, which I don't do the experimental just because there's so many bugs. And I don't like crashing. Not crashing, but, you know, the whole game shuts down on you. I hate that. Right now, stable version is the best. I have not had a single crash with that. And the development version just has a few more features, but with those few more features, they're not quite tested out, not ironed out, so you can expect some more bugs, more crashes more often with that version. But the current 0.7.0 stable version of the fly-by-wire A320 is a very good version. And most importantly, it works. Take a peek outside the plane. Hope I didn't just blast anybody's ears. Man, I love this simulator. Gorgeous night. I love how I'm at almost any time of the day or at night. You know, you have this nice glow on the horizon. little bit of cloud cover. Light clouds. Alright, let's go ahead and go back in so we don't have to keep listening to that. Ooh, just cruising right along. Alright, just hit 13,000, dropping down to 9, and then by the time we get over here I need to be at, what was that, 1,600? Yeah, we're gonna be right here along the beach, so we're right at sea level pretty much. Because I'm already down, let's go ahead and get the what was that QNH? 2993? That was easy. Alright, for future videos, you guys just let me know what you want me to do. I do Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'd have to reset up for it, but I do a little bit of Farming Simulator 2019. I will be doing a 2022 version when it drops. I do Fishing North Atlantic and the Isle from time to time. Fishing North Atlantic more so. It's probably my number 2 sim right now. Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course, being number one, baby. This is just a great sim, especially after they ironed out a lot of the bugs early on. Oh, it was rough. It was rough. If you guys have been following this sim since release, you know launch was awful. It's taken it over a year just to get it to be anything you'd want to tell your friends about. Seriously. It's a lot better now. A lot better. Alright, coming over on Cobra, we should be banking to the left. And at 10,000 feet, that's a little off actually. We're 9,400. But that's okay. Creeping up on 9,000 now, just in time. And as soon as we start making this bank, I'm going to go ahead and drop it down to our... Where are you going, buddy? Oh, I was totally wrong. You see this? It is doing exactly what it shows on the radar. It did not bank early or anything. That's alright. More time, more money. If any of you guys fly Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're new to it, you wanna... Maybe there's, you know, some aspects of the game you don't understand, as far as procedures, things like that. Feel free to leave a comment. This video will also be over on YouTube, same channel name, Circle of Light, one word. And just drop a comment, let me know what you guys would like to see. If I can answer the question in a reply, I will. If it takes a video, because, you know, it's a more in-depth subject, like maybe you want to learn how to do your ILS approaches, you know, and capture your glide slope, I could do that for you. You know, I'm here to please you guys. I sing, I dance. Yeah, I do it all. Alright, coming around, let's go ahead and drop down to... Now I love these panels, but I have it set up to where it's actually doing thousands. So I do have to switch my mouse over here. And I could... drop it down to... It says 16, but I like being a little under. And we got it set there, but we need to go ahead and do our vertical speed. So we're going from 9,000 to 1,000, so let's do about 900 feet per minute and engage that. When we get closer to our actual approach and final, I will drop the speed. We're already going a little slow, so the flight took a little longer than expected. That's fine. See what's going on over on YouTube. Nothing. Now, when I lived in Florida, I lived in Gulf Breeze, but I worked for a cable company, and they had a warehouse there, and I would actually drive a warehouse, big box truck, delivering cable equipment, picking up returned equipment, so it could be refurbished, and I would drive all the way from Pensacola to Apalachicola to the east. And then the next week I would switch the route and I'd be driving from Pensacola or Gulf Breeze down to Fort Walton Beach area. And then I would, the next week, all the way to Biloxi, Mississippi. And if you could see right here, I can already tell that right there is I-10. And that heads all the way from Florida to Texas, maybe all the way to California. Not sure. And there's Interstate 87, Interstate Highway. And every other week, every day of the week, I would drive by this Air Force Base. And it was great, especially during the summer. You know, they always had F-22s, F-16s, F-14s, not F-14s, F-15 Strike Eagles flying around. It was great. Alright, looking out at some ocean. So we're just going to go right over the airport. And it kind of looks like we, SimBrief set us up. To land the wrong direction. No matter, we're flying offline, so there won't be any more traffic. Alright, let's go back inside, switch my panel. Let's turn our speed down at 180. And we're going to need flaps 1. I like to slow down a little early. Wonder if I have time to run downstairs and grab a drink. Yep, let's see.
$2,500.
2,500.
All right, we're good. Just checking for another stream. I got another friend who streams Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'd like to catch him also. His stream time, 6 his time, and he's in Alaska. So, I don't know, he's a little late. Can have head over and check out his content. He's Emperor_C Note. I believe it's the same on Twitch and YouTube also. He puts out some really good videos. You guys should check that out too. Alright, so it's going to bank. It's going to do something weird here. So I'm going to have to recover pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and go down to our landing speed, which I think was 137. We'll take it to 140 just in case. Flaps 2. Let's prepare for this. This was an ILS, so let's go ahead and turn our rows over to LS. Turn on ILS Approach. Alright, there's our glide slope. We got one there. Alright, they're both showing up. We are close. That's all I need to do right now. Now when we turn back in, let's go ahead and... I don't think it's going to take me all the way to that waypoint. Looks like it's taking me to glider and then gonna cut in, and I need to be closer to the ground when I hit glider. So let's go down to 1,000. Oh. I'm really not sure what it's doing here. No, it definitely did not follow the approach like I believe it should have. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on flaps 3. And 4, we're very close to stall, so let's drop that stall bar down there. Good. Alright. I feel good about that.
1,000.
1,000.
That's exactly what it did. It took us to glider instead of Aussie. I'm glad I was paying attention. This game will throw you some curveballs. Keep you on your toes. Mm-hmm. All right, there's our runway. Let's go ahead and turn on our approach. We are facing the right direction. In the fly-by-wire A320, you know you have your autopilot 1 button here, your auto throttle, and this will actually, and an ILS will take you down to about 100 feet, at which point it will automatically disengage itself, and you will fly in. You'll do your own flare, retard the throttle, and brake and everything. In the fly-by-wire, you can click AP2, and they'll all light up. And when AP2 is on, you can be hands-off. It will flare, it will land itself, and if you have your auto brakes on over here, will slow and stop itself and keep itself lined up on the runway. It will slow down to, I think, maybe 40 knots, maybe it's 20, but at some point while it's slowing down, it won't stop, but then it'll disengage autopilot, and you'll have to take her off the runway. But it's very helpful if you're flying somewhere and you're in really bad weather. You can't see anything. You don't know where the runway is. You just throw that on, and it'll take care of everything. If you don't want to chance it. Especially, you know, if you're flying in a VA or something and you're actually flying flights for credit, and, you know, you don't want to do a 3-hour flight into Seattle just to find out there's zero visibility and end up crashing because you can't see the runway and you're taking it down and it's bringing you down on a glide slope that actually scrapes you across some buildings or something, you know? Alright, we're coming in. We are at just about landing speed. That's going to be good enough. We're currently 1,000. We have our vertical ILS capture, and our horizontal is coming in. Where this purple diamond reaches here, you'll see then the autopilot will take over and take us down to a 3-degree glide slope. Just like that. Now we are on approach. About a mile from the actual runway, I'll drop landing gear. Guess right about now. Looks good. Go ahead and pull myself up. Feet on the pedals. Everything else looks good. Go ahead and put on our auto brake to medium.
100 above.
And 100. Let's go ahead and pull our air brake.
500.
Minimum. $400.
400.
Looks like I like their lights.
300.
Instead of 4 across, it's 2 and 2.
200.
Let's go ahead and disengage autopilot.
100.
100.
50.
50.
40.
40.
30.
30.
20. Retard.
20.
Flare.
10.
Smooth landing. Let's go ahead and stop her. Go ahead and raise our flaps to 0.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. Ensure you've gathered any personal belongings. Be careful when opening overhead bins, as luggage may have shifted around during the flight. If you need any assistance exiting the plane, please remain seated until all passengers have deplane. We would be happy to assist you. On behalf of the crew, I thank you for choosing us, and we look forward to seeing you on future flights. Have a great evening.
Alright, I guess we can go ahead and stop her right here. Turn on the parking brake. For everybody who took the time to watch the stream, whether you could stay the full time or not, anybody who's coming later on, watching this video after it's been uploaded, appreciate you stopping by, appreciate your views. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.